joint public agency meeting for Tuesday, August 28th, 2018. Before we get started, I'd like to note a copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. First item on the agenda is election of the vice chair.
I'll make a motion that we elect Benny Shobe vice chair of the JPA.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
We're going to have serious discussion here.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, we'll close the nominations and I'll ask for a motion. Or excuse me, I'll call the vote. Brinkman.
Yes.
Beitler.
Yes.
And Shobe.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Second item is approval of the minutes from the May 21st, 2018 meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If we're ready and no changes, corrections, I'll call the roll. Brinkman.
Yes.
Beitler.
Yes.
Shobe.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Next, we have a public hearing. This is for the budget for fiscal year 2018-2019.
You're going to...
Sure.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. All right. Good morning. Dennis Meyer, Lancaster County Budget and Fiscal Officer. I'm just going to go over a couple of the numbers that we have out in the forms that we sent out. It's really the budget document that will be filed with the state auditor's office. Some of the highlights for this year. This year will be the first budget since we did an advance refunding on the bonds. So when we take a look at the property tax request, the property tax request overall is going to decrease by about $510,000. So that's what we were kind of hoping for when we did the advance refunding. So just to kind of remind everybody, we have two different levies with the JPA. One that I call the city, the other one that I call the county. And the county portion is the portion that is set up that it has a $2 million number attached to it. And so that number is kind of set, so we do not and cannot adjust that number. So it's going to be the city levy portion that's going to drop by the $510,000. So that's where we will see that. When we talk about the total bonded indebtedness this year, it kind of looks a little bit out of whack because it will show you a $99.8 million number there. Right now, with us doing an advance refunding, that first bond that we did that refunding on does not get paid off until December 1. So right now, we're carrying two different bonds. So when we meet again in November to make our next principal payment, we will not only make that, but we'll pay off that first bond. And so then next year we'll get kind of back to the norm where it will be right back down to about a $43 million number. So as I just mentioned, when we make that principal payment in December, that will be our 10th principal payment, so that really puts us about halfway done on these bonds. When we set up the spending authority for this year, the spending authority will be shown at $46.8 million. There again, when you compare it to the last previous years of $6 and $5 million, that's really to pay off that advance refunding. So again, once we get to the next budget year, we'll be back to the norm. Another thing that I just kind of want to note is valuation increases. On the county side, it increased at 4.87, and on the city, it increased at 5.62. So when we look at our overall levies for the JPA and what's happened to it over the last 9-10 years, when we originally started this, the combined levies between the two was at about 3.1 cents. This year, when we adopt, the combined will be at about 1.8. So this is one of the, ways that we will see our bond payments don't fluctuate much, so our property tax is really just set up to pay those bond payments. So as the bond dollars stay the same, and especially this year with it decreasing by the 510, that's just driving that levy portion down. So so I think with that, I think that's the information I just kind of wanted to throw out there to you.
Thank you. Are there questions for this testifier? Since this is a public hearing, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this agenda item? Seeing no one? Do we need a motion and second? Corey, would you please continue for?
Sure.
Yes, thank
The
you.
next item, item number 4, is adopting the resolution in the matter of approving the budget for fiscal year July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019.
Move approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve, to adopt the resolution. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, would you call the roll, please?
Beitler,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Next is public comment.
Would anyone in the audience like to comment at this time? This is kind of an open mic session. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll move to our next agenda item.
And that is setting the next meeting for November 27th, 2018. Do we want to verify time, Dennis?
Yeah, I think, Benny, I'd probably start with you. 8 o'clock would probably work the best for you.
As long as I have plenty of notice, it's not really an
Okay.
issue, just, yeah.
Because we have the ability to fluctuate, but we usually do them on, the last Tuesday, which would be November 27th. And we're really down to the point where we have 3 meetings, one in November, one in May to make our next bond payment, and then we do one in August to adopt our budget. So that's kind of our schedule for this next budget year. So,
It works for 8. Is that okay with everyone else?
That's fine.
Yes.
okay.
All right.
I'll move we adjourn.
Second?
A motion and a second to adjourn. Would you call the roll, please?
Beitler,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
We are adjourned.